discuss about forecasting approaches. So there are both types of approaches. There are objective approaches, there are subjective approaches. So within objective, there are again two types of approaches that we are going to talk about today. Time series approach and then causal or relational models. So time series is you identify patterns, you have historic data, and the approach is basically past predicts the future. Right? आपका एक demand for the SQ was there at a certain location. It was behaving in a certain pattern, and therefore, based on that historic data, what will be the future? So you predict the future, the next 1 month, next 3 months, next 6 months. We also call it as the black box approach. We are not really concerned about why, ये क्यों होगा या कैसे होगा. We are just concerned about this has been the pattern and this is what I predict it to be in next 1 month or next 1 week or next 1 quarter and things like that. The other type of objective approach is the causal or relational approach, which is more like an input-output model. Okay, for example, if there is more rain, there will be more sales of raincoats or more sales of umbrellas, right? So you change the input, the output gets changed. So there is a cause and effect kind of a relationship, right? So if the interest rate comes down to as low as 5%, what will be the sales of or growth of my car loans or car sales or housing sales and so on and so forth. So there is a cause and effect. There is a relationship between input and output. And those changes in inputs are basically the leading indicators for your outputs. So that's another way of looking at things. So that's the causal or the relational models, as we call. That's another forecasting approach. Then on the subjective side, you have judgmental forecasting techniques. So as the name suggests, you are basically judging through surveys. You run a survey through your sales team and what they feel about this new product, how much is it going to sell. You may have an expert jury who is expert in that particular product category or in that market, and they would looking at the product, the value proposition, the pricing, and things like that. They would comment. They could comment on short-term and long-term forecasts of this particular product. Delphi technique is very similar to expert jury. So you form a group of experts and give certain inputs, and then they try to do a forecast for the product. The other way of subjective forecast is experimental. So you do customer surveys, you do test marketing, you do focus groups. So essentially, typically for new product launches and things like that, you get into subjective, a bit of subjective and a bit of objective approach. But typically for products which are mature in nature, the industry generally practices more of objective nature.